Good afternoon, everyone. In today's video, I'd like to talk about 6 different stocks that I think are likely to trend tomorrow based off the price activity that we saw in the markets today. Now, today, with the volatility we saw in the markets, we saw a very March 2020 sort of reversal here with a V-shaped reversal where price action fell and then was really bought very, very quickly by buyers, suggesting that there was a good amount of strength on the buy side activity for today's marketplace activity. Now, we'll start with the 6 different picks first and then dive through each one. I'll start by taking a look at the intraday time frame on a 1 minute chart, and then we'll just zoom out a little bit onto the daily time frame chart to talk about anything that stands out there. The 6 different stocks are Canopy Growth, Quest Diagnostics, GoHealth. This is my favorite one out of the bunch, one I already have a position in, TPH, XRT, the retail ETF, and then finally we'll conclude with YY. Now we'll start with GoCo first, mostly because that's my favorite one, but I think it's a good starting point here. So inside of GoCo, let's actually maximize this sell. You'll see that with price activity today, first off, to start off in the morning, we had price sell-off. This was true for almost all stocks across the board. We had more than 400 trades trigger via our stock volatility box today. From that standpoint, we had price activity breach our aggressive volatility box clouds. And then from that point, we really saw a fairly nice reversal. Now, we also got the edge signal, but after that, you saw price action bounce, then fell back into our target line, and then bounced from there one more time. That grand move in total, just for anyone who was looking at GoHealth, was about 6.94% in the intraday activity, 7% on the intraday activity. Now we're more interested with what GoHealth is looking like for tomorrow's price action, and that's where if we have price action break above our volatility box clouds right here, that then suggests that hey, we have buyers again taking control of price activity in GoHealth, and they're looking to drive price action up much, much higher. To give you an idea of what that exact price looks like, let me bring in our dashboard. With GoHealth in particular, we'd be looking for a break of 14.44 within the first 15 minutes after the stock market opens, so by 6:45 a.m. Pacific. That's our sign or a trigger condition that, hey, there's buyers coming into GoHealth. We expect some sort of a trending move up higher here. Now, the bare minimum first move in GoHealth would be right around 1% for me. That's based off of this pivot low to the outer edge, our entry point. That's right around 1.21%. We're looking for that same move in the opposite direction in GoHealth. However, if we now come into our daily time frame chart in GoHealth, there's a lot of things that I think are to be liked here with GoHealth in particular. We have a slingshot squeeze. We have a squeeze signal. Usually this is our sign that, hey, the squeeze is really about to take off here without us. You see here the squeeze is also gaining momentum. We have the market pulse line being an overall shade of green, along with now a recent transition to that gray zone. There are earnings coming up in GoHealth if we use the estimated earnings. That's right around March 8th. But this is, again, a stock that I don't mind owning longer term. So that's one that I find to be very interesting from our trending list setup for tonight. Now let's move on to Canopy Growth. Repeat the same exercise here. So let me come back into our intraday time frame chart. Also link this. All right, cool. So let's start now with Canopy Growth Health. So you should notice something very similar in Canopy Growth. The only thing that stands out in Canopy Growth is that we need to see buyers really prove to us that price action is going to continue trending up higher. And there's a bit more ground to cover in Canopy Health. However, it's also a slightly more volatile stock, so it's likely to happen in my opinion. For Canopy Growth here, we need price action to break above 36.83. If that happens by 6:45 a.m. Pacific, that's then our sign that, hey, the buyers have some sort of control here. We'd expect price action to continue trending in that same bullish direction. In the case of Canopy Health, we'd be looking at a slightly higher target as well, right around 4.2-ish%. And if we can get that, then I think that makes for a fairly interesting move. Now, the only thing on the daily time frame chart that stands out here is this open gap. That gap is at 36.49, so fairly close to price action currently, but it's only if we can fill that gap and then continue trending up from there. And the only basis for that would be, again, that the squeeze now looks like we'd have a momentum shift change, considering that we've really just had a straight shoot down lower here. We also still have, for the most part, a market pulse line. So if we could get a tag on the longer term swing trade sort of basis back up to right around 41.25 before we see a trend reversal, if we do see that, I think that's fairly interesting as well. Now we come into our next stock here, which is Quest Diagnostics. Zoom out. Quest Diagnostics should look very similar to GoHealth, where again, we have price action really trending up higher for the most part today. If we get a break above in Quest Diagnostics, that's 117.86 by 6:45 a.m. Pacific, that to me would be the sign that we're looking for buyers to resume control in Quest, continue to drive price action up higher. And if we look at, again, the daily time frame chart, Quest Diagnostics looks just a little bit better than Canopy Growth, but does not look as interesting as Go Health here, where we had price action really fall down lower. The market pulse is also in a stage of deceleration. So really the move here that we'd be looking for is a squeeze to really have started to exhaust just a tad bit, start to reverse just a little bit, and take us back to the market pulse line for anyone looking for that swing trade at 123.01. The signals that we had earlier already fired when we had the squeeze actually fire long. That took us into the 1272. So far from that standpoint, we've fallen down just a little bit. And if we use our fibs here just as a little bit of assistance, then using that 100% zone, you'll notice we're right around that level. So if we do see a reversal from this standpoint and then tag again the market pulse line, and maybe even the previous extension at right around 130.97, I think that makes for an interesting move. That's again all around the basis that we expect price activity in the overall markets to continue to bounce up higher, and that this isn't some sort of a larger market sell-off sort of activity. Now the next stock we'll take a look at is TriPoint Group. Now if we look at TriPoint Group, again, if we break above the outer edge of the volatility box clouds there, on TriPoint, that is a price level of 19.13, then that would be our sign that we expect price activity to continue trending up higher. Now we use our daily time frame chart here. Very similar setup to what we've been talking about. Still have a market pulse line. In the grand scheme of things, if we did see a nice reversal from this point, this would have been your quote unquote pullback opportunity to the market pulse. So that's where I think having a bit of perspective helps. But I still keep coming back to the fact that Go Health here looks to be the nicest chart from the ones we've covered at least so far. Now, next up, we'll use XRT, and I'll start in XRT first with our daily time frame chart, mostly because that stands off. In XRT, we've had the squeeze really looking like it's going to be firing short. However, in that entire period here, we've just been chopping around sideways. And we've really been still holding the market pulse line, which I think all bodes for this idea that if we do see this reversal in the histogram here in the squeeze, that would then suggest price activity here starts to trend up higher. We've seen price activity here hold this level for the most part, really above that 75 zone. And I think that adds for a nice zone that you'd be looking at a reversal at. The 1 minute chart also confirms that in terms of buyers coming in today in XRT. The price level that we're looking to beat in XRT in particular, if I come in here, that's 79.27. That's the outer edge of the volatility box zone. And that's again happening by 6:45 a.m. Pacific tomorrow for us to get interested in XRT. But in terms of our daily time frame chart here, XRT and Go Health are both sort of hand in hand in terms of not having a deeper sell-off. We're still holding the market pulse line for the most part, and we're looking for that squeeze to ultimately fire long. Now, finally, the last chart I'll conclude with is YY, which is Joy Inc. That is an offshore company, so for anyone who's looking to stay away from that, that would be just a very easy X right off the bat. However, here we have a pullback to the market pulse line on the daily time frame chart. We had really price activity being bought up fairly nicely today, and if we can see a move back up from that standpoint where perhaps we have an edge signal or something like that to confirm it off of our daily time frame activity for tomorrow, that leads for a nice retest for this previous high one more time. Now, if we come into our intraday time frame chart here, the reason why this looks a bit more interesting, we have 1, 2, 3 slingshot squeezes on a 1 minute time frame, if that's any kind of precursor of what to expect for tomorrow. Now in YY, the break that we're looking to see is a break outside of 124.16 for us to get interested in this move. Again, looking to then, if we got that 124.16 move, looking to then see if we can retest not only the market pulse line, but break above it. And at the very least here, you could use something like your 50% fibs, looking at that as a nice, easy swing term sort of target here at what, right around 130.52. Let me actually fix this just so we can make it a bit more accurate, 130.87. All right, so hopefully this helps to give you 6 different ideas of stocks. We looked at both intraday and end of day timeframes. Again, just to highlight, GoCo and XRT are the ones that stand out to me. And then the other ones all have something interesting going for it, which I think would support a move coming in with the buyers. But again, that needs to be proven by 6:45 a.m. Pacific with all of our levels off of our dashboard right here. Here they are one more time for anyone looking to just take a screenshot or anything of that sort. All right, hope this video helps. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and we'll see you in the next update.